Qigong as a discipline versus Qigong as a way of life. That is going to be the topic of this episode of Qi Life. All right, so the inspiration for this topic actually came from one of the podcast interviews that I've done recently. I've done a whole series of them lately, which has been really great as a way to talk to someone. You know, the interviewer normally has an interest in Qigong, and then to share that with their audience and maybe share a little bit more about Qigong, help them to discover some things that they might then want to explore Qigong for themselves a little bit more. Talking to one of these interviewers on one of these podcasts, we had a little exchange where they were asking me about, you know, my thoughts or experience with Qigong as a discipline, and it took a little bit for us to start to be able to communicate properly with each other, because I was thinking about it. It's like I don't personally really think of it as a discipline. I have at different times in my life been very disciplined in the way that I've practiced Qigong, and I think there can be real value in that, in having a very regular routine where you practice every day, and you spend, you know, maybe a significant period of time working on individual practices to develop your understanding and skill with them. And there have been periods of my life when I've been very, very disciplined with my Qigong practice. There have also been times when I've been much more relaxed and free with my Qigong practice, and it's been a very flexible, adaptable thing. And when I think of discipline, I think of that structure, that routine, and so on. And so, yeah, again, while I've had discipline about my Qigong practice at various times, I haven't thought of the Qigong practice itself as a discipline as such. And so as we continued to talk, you know, we thought of different ways, like how are we not quite communicating our meaning to each other? And eventually we arrived upon, well, how about Qigong as a way of life? And, you know, as I thought about that, I thought, well, yeah, I think that describes how I feel about Qigong much more. Because the way I see Qigong is really as, again, way of life is possibly not even the best description, but the way I see it as a set of principles, and connected to those principles are practices that influence every part of my life. So the practice itself is only a small part of what I get from Qigong. From the Qigong, I also get this understanding and these principles that help me to understand every part of my life and my interaction with it, and therefore how I can navigate my way through life with a smoother flow of energy. Within our Qigong practice, we do things, sometimes it's movement, sometimes it involves meditation and breath and so on, with the aim of strengthening and balancing and making our energy flow more smoothly. We can then draw from these same principles and apply them to other parts of our life as well. And by using those principles in this different context, help us to be stronger, more balanced, and flow more freely through other parts of our life as well. And so I thought it was an interesting little clarification. It was an interesting little moment of discussion I had with this podcast interviewer, and an opportunity for me to reflect and think about how I think about Qigong for myself. And again, I think there's value in that discipline. We can really gain a lot by being disciplined in our practice, giving ourselves rules and structure, as it were, to ensure that we practice regularly. And this is often the pathway to developing real skill, by having that disciplined focus over time. But yes, for me, Qigong is so much more than that. The discipline is the structure that helps me to get more out of the Qigong, but the Qigong is something richer. It's got this essence of meaning, of understanding, that informs me in so many ways and then flows into the rest of my life. So anyway, just a few little thoughts on that topic that I thought might be interesting for you. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog, and I look forward to seeing you on another one soon.